You can, that's why it's gone silent. Welcome to welcome to Ramadan Tent Project. It's great to see you guys strolling in, latecomers. I can see you guys.
Sorry.
No, thank you ever so much for coming. Today is day 16 of Ramadan. Peace be upon you all. Tonight, I'm quite honoured and very, very excited to be presenting for the second year running to Ramadan Tent Project, but also I'm a PhD student at SOAS, so I'm presenting my and our SOAS principal and director, Professor Paul Webley. He's someone who's supported us very, very much throughout the year. We were awarded the Volunteer Project of the Year Award, which was presented by Professor Paul himself. And I'm quite privileged really to have this man next to me. He's done so much throughout his years to SOAS in his respective work, but most importantly, I can speak on behalf of the Ramadan Tent Committee and the volunteers. We've had a lot of support from Paul. He's also up as one of our testimonials on our webpage. He does really support us, and we are quite indebted to his work and his support for us. And I'm very grateful to have him invited down again, since last year was his first ever iftar with Muslims. So I'm glad that he's back here this year. And for me, for my sake, and for Ramadan Tent's sake, a massive round of applause for Professor Webley, please.
Thank you, Omar. I'm somewhat embarrassed, I have to say. The idea that Omar should be excited and honoured by the fact that I'm here, I find a bit extraordinary. As he said, last year was the first time that I'd broken fast, and for me it was a moving and a memorable experience, which is why when he asked me to come back, I said that I would. He's also mentioned something I was already going to mention, which was that the Ramadan Tent, an absolutely brilliant project that we at SOAS were very keen to support, won the, I believe, Omar, it's the student-led project of the year. And I just want to tell you why it won that award, because there were lots of other competing projects at SOAS, some of which were excellent, but very good. The reason that it won the award was because what the judges were impressed by was the inclusivity of the project, the way it reached out to all people from all parts of the community. That's what really impressed people. And the way the volunteers at the Ramadan Tent put their heart and soul into a project that really made a difference. So for us, it was great to award that, give that award. So congratulations to him. Now, I came to SOAS 8 years ago. I was at the University of Exeter before that. And I'm ashamed to say, but I'm sure you'll forgive me, that before I came to SOAS, I had very little understanding of what Ramadan was. And I was talking to the gentleman on my right earlier, pointing out that when I was a boy in West London, I essentially was brought up in a monoculture. There was me, there were other West Londoners. Were there Muslims where I lived? No. Were there Hindus? No. There were some Catholics. And London and the world has changed since then. We've become so much more multicultural, and people have become much more understanding of diversity and the range of beliefs that people have, and understanding about our common humanity. What I didn't realise was what Ramadan was all about. One of the first things I did when I came to SOAS was to read books and articles by SOAS members of staff. The first book I read was the Quran, translated by Professor Abdul Halim. Now I have to tell you that I found the Quran quite hard to read. I think it's because I've got a very linear mind. And it was only when Professor Abdul Halim told me that I shouldn't think of it as a linear book, that I had to think of each surah as like a little sermon, and to read each sermon and take out that sermon, and then come back and read the next one, and not try and read too much at once. And then I got a lot more out of it. So what did I get out of it about Ramadan? Well, I learned that fasting is a means to an end. It's to make people more mindful of God. Ramadan's about community, it's about communication, it's about understanding oneself and others, it's about compassion, it's about mercy. It has a message for everyone, and it's that making people more aware of themselves, their spirituality, their common humanity that I think is important. And that's why I think the Ramadan Tent is such a good project, and such a good project for SOAS to have supported. It fosters a better understanding of the spirit and the essence of Ramadan, and it spreads that understanding across communities. And I just want to finish with one final thought. You're in some University of London space here. This is the Sunken Garden, rather unusual space. Last year, it was on SOAS space, and Omar said to me earlier, he was a bit disappointed that it couldn't be at SOAS, and he liked to mention SOAS a lot. And for me, it's worth bearing in mind that SOAS is also part of the University of London, and you might say, well, what's the University of London consist of? Well, it's got lots of different colleges. The Royal Veterinary College, the Institute of Education, it's got theological colleges, it's got all sorts of different colleges. But what's special about it is that although we're all independent, we're all free, we can leave the University of London wherever we like, we come together for the common good. So I think it's great that the University of London has come together to provide this space for the common good, which is the Ramadan Tent. That's all I have to say. Thank you.